If you're sleeping, it's time to wake up. That was beautiful. Thank you, Martin. Just beautiful. I just love the way his music just flows. Takes you to places. Okay, I'm almost organized here. Welcome. You are here at a very special time because it's the first Sunday of 2020, which is very exciting because if you're going to any Center for Spiritual Living church or meeting today around the world, they're all talking about one thing, the thing itself, the first chapter of the Science of Mind text. So the whole world is getting to know more about science of mind and what Ernest Holmes called the thing itself. And so we like to go back to basics, start the new year off with the basics. So if you aren't familiar with Science of Mind magazine, these we sell each month in the bookstore. And the whole issue this time in January is all about the basics, the first 4 chapters. So if you're going to sit with Reverend Sue over this month and learn about the first couple of chapters in Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes can be, he's from the 1900s, so his language is a little bit different, but here in this magazine it's pretty simple, so if you want to kind of get ahead of the thing, pick it up in the bookstore. And, you know, on the cover here, Charlie said, you know what, that's Alex Trebek. He's the famous TV guy. And his wife is a practitioner. So if you know him, that's kind of an interesting thing to find out. All right. So in the early 1900s, Ernest Holmes had a passion for studying ancient sacred texts. All the texts in the world, he just had such a passion for that. Because what he was trying to find is the common truths. If there were truths that were common to every religious text, sacred text. And he did find them, which is why he put this book, The Science of Mind, together. And he knew that these truths could enhance our lives in so many different ways. And the principles that he found here, but he says, you know what, I didn't create anything new. I just discovered. And here's something that he says in the first chapter, and you might recognize it. There is only one life. That life is God, and that life is our life now. Very popular saying here. Well, here's my sacred text, and pages are falling out. It's about 30 years old. But you know, I underlined so much stuff, I don't want to get a new one and have to do that all over again. So I keep taping it up and using it. And in the foreword to this text is a little foreword by Hornaday. He studied with Ernest Holmes in Southern California. And Holmes, at that time when Bill was studying with him, he was drawing 2,000 to 3,000 people every Sunday to his talks. He was very, very well known. Bill went to the talks, and finally one day he said, you know, my life is such a mess, I think I've got to go meet personally with Ernest Holmes, which he did. And he had this appointment with him, and he writes in the foreword that Holmes finally looked him in and said, what I really want to know is if you're happy with the results of your beliefs. Are you happy with the results of your beliefs? Are you satisfied with the results that you're getting in life? Where are you going in life if you're not satisfied? And so at the end of the meeting, Dr. Holmes gave him the Science of Mind text. And he also added his usual reminder to people, there is a power in the universe greater than you are, and you can use it. And we know this. But January is just a reminder of all these goodies that Holmes put together. Well, when Bill went home, he opened up the text and he read the dedication, which is, to the truth which frees man from himself and sets him on a pathway of a new experience, which enables him to see through the mist of the eternal, changeless reality. To see through the mist to this eternal, changeless reality. Very bold words, very bold words. So we have the opportunity to learn all these tools through the study of science of mind, and we have the freedom to do it. What I often share with people who are like in the foundations class or one of the new class or early classes in science of mind is you can decide to take charge of your life through what you think, what you believe, and it can be either good or bad. But if you don't decide to take charge, you're going to get potluck, whatever happens to come along. So, obviously, you're better off controlling your environment, what you think about, what you believe. And the more negativity you're putting in there, which is easy to do in the world these days, it's coming back to you. And mix it up with some positive, and then you end up with potluck, and it's like, oh, now what do I do? So sometimes life can feel like we're on a roller coaster. Someday we're happy, so we read an article in the journal, and we're sad, and these kids are doing this, and people are doing that, and it's like, what is this coming to? Well, there's a lot of confusion. If people really understood they are in charge of their life, the world would be a more healthier, happier place. But the thing itself sounds like an odd topic for the first chapter of a spiritual book. It's just, and what he's trying to do is to kind of shock us a little bit, shifting our mind away from the God in the sky who's sitting on a throne, who's, judging you every day. That's what I grew up with. It's kind of scary. So he wants to get away from that. It's the thing itself. It doesn't have a personal issue with you. It created you in love. He also reminds us that we were created in oneness, that all that's happening in this universe is this one energy coming from this thing called God, and it has a creative force in it, and the creativity is constantly going on. Holmes also called God creative intelligence, and there's some charts in this book, in the back of the book, and chart number 1, which is reflected in this symbol up here, the V symbol. He also has some other names for God: the absolute, first cause, the great I am. Years ago, I was at a Silmar, and this wonderful teacher, she was such a kick. She said, you know what I call God? Big Sweetie. Because he answers so many of my prayers. And I'm so happy. I thought, that wouldn't be me, but she was really into it. Personally, I like universal intelligence because I'm a little more scientific. But if you remember, a couple weeks ago, Melissa Felipe was here. You were all here. Most of you were here. And during the service, Z asked us to go into this little bit of meditation and ask God what God would like us to call God. What would you like us to call you? So I'm sitting there meditating, and the name that immediately came to me was Sheila. I said, you gotta be kidding me. Sheila? Okay, already, it's from God. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that, but I think we're gonna be really good friends. I think that's what's gonna happen. So when we see the symbol on the wall, the big circle is the universe. And in the top is the essence of the thing itself, God. And it's got 20 different names for this energy field that is God. And then in the middle is our soul's journey. And it cuts right through our soul's journey. It's always with us on our soul's journey. And in the bottom is our mind-body, us. And it cuts into that too. So we are surrounded by and encapsulated in the oneness that is whatever your choice of the word is for God. When Holmes was doing all this studying, the one thing he found consistently in every spiritual text was the word unity. And this represents unity. He said it was the chief cornerstone of every text he read. We're all one. Unity signifies a union of the parts, one perfect harmonious whole, of which we're a part of. And on the first page of the first chapter in this book, he writes, We all look forward to the day when science and religion will walk hand in hand through the visible to the invisible. And I believe in my lifetime a lot of that has happened. Yours too. A lot of scientific discoveries have uncovered not just an atom, but all the deeper aspects of atom to say, finally, it's just all energy. It's this one amazing field of energy. Now, scientists also recognize universal principles, or call them laws, universal laws that are always at work, like gravity, the speed of light. The speed of light is always at work. I think it's 186,000 miles per second or something like that. But what we found is that the mind energy, our energy from our mind, travels at the speed of light. That's why we can do prayer for people in London or Afghanistan or South America. It travels that fast, which is really good to know. So universal intelligence created us to be free, to be spontaneous individuals. Every morning you wake up and it's a whole brand new day and you get to decide what to do. You can sleep in, you can ride your bike, you can do anything you want. You're a free, spontaneous individual. And so that's important in recognizing how we create our life. If we're free to create the life that we want, what's holding us back? Or is anything holding us back? Or is there anything you would want to change? Something to think about. Because God created this field of infinite energy with something that we recognize as love. Love. Think of a moment when you felt deep love, whether someone was hugging you or embracing you, or your kitty's laying on your lap and he's licking your fingers. I mean, it comes in all different ways, that feeling of love. It's a cosmic force whose sweep is irresistible. We really are enjoying love when we feel it, when we have it. It is irresistible force. And we love it when we can get others and get that force welling up in them. Giving and receiving love is very, very powerful. The love of God is perfect, and the law of God is perfect. And so the universe operates on love and law. I think of love as the background energy in the universe. It's not something that's hidden. It's something that I can bring up in myself anytime I choose to. Anytime I choose to. Yeah. Am I choosing love today? Or am I choosing sadness or anger or frustration with the world? Oh my God, I'd rather choose love. I'd rather choose love. Well, the next aha in this chapter is that the universe does not play favorites. The universe does not say, Mary, that was a really stupid idea. It says, you are focused on it, here you go. It supports us in every way it can. It's a receptive energy. It takes our thoughts, our feelings, and beliefs, puts them in we call it subconscious mind, and it has an attractive energy in it, and it attracts what we're focused on. If you're taking Shari's watercolor class, I know she's going to be doing some florals, and I've taken watercolors with Shari, and she's a master at it. If you ever wanted to do it, she's a master. But when this flower should be purple, and I don't have the right purple, I can mix a couple of other colors together, and I'll find the right purple. It's the law. You mix two colors, you get the same results in the amounts that you're using. And it's kind of amazing to think about that. So when I think about two colors coming together, like two things coming together in my life, Sheila, Spirit, God, is not going to say, Mary, you should make a better choice. No, it's just what is. So we have infinite potentiality in our fingertips when we're doing watercolors. And that's really exciting, very exciting. So I'm often filled with awe when I experiment with this, because it's important to do. Because until you experiment with this, you don't really know it, you don't really feel it. But when you go, oh my God, look what happened. Wow, this is powerful. Recently, I don't know, for some reason, things have been appearing that I didn't expect. And something in me always goes, oh, well, you just didn't know it. You didn't know that that was there. No, I really ruffled through my desk looking for a receipt, going, I know in God's time, in God's world, nothing is lost. Nothing is lost. And I walk in my bedroom, and the receipt is laying in the middle of my dresser top. I didn't put it there. It's interesting. The other day, I was looking for my jacket. I thought it was going to rain. It wasn't at home, and so I knew it had to be here in the office. So I came in the next day, and it wasn't here. But when I got back in my car, it was on the floor in the front seat. Now, come on. Am I going crazy? No, but Sheila's got my back, you know? That makes me laugh. That makes me laugh. It may be a little eerie at times, but it makes me laugh. And then I say, thank you, thank you, thank you, because gratitude is very important, very important. So if God's perfect, law is perfect, why do we pray? Why would we take the time to pray? We don't pray to a God in the sky who's going to judge what we think we want. The universe is creative, infinitely creative. So what we do want to do is a prayer that kind of encapsulates this. That's why often our prayers start, there is only one. There's only one thing going on here. But what? I am one with that. I am part of that. And right now, what I accept for myself, because there is only the present moment, if I say I accept next Monday, there's always a next Monday. But if I accept in the present moment, that energy immediately starts to work. He called it spiritual mind treatment. It's a spiritual force that works through our mind, and it's like a salve on a wound. You're just treating yourself. Just treating yourself to goodness, to love, to a better life experience. So it's important to use positive words. And if we say, I know you don't have time, God. No, you know that's not right. If you say, I hope, then you're always hoping. So we need to use present moment words. So we learn to be careful what we ask for. There's a book in the bookstore called Praying Dangerously, and it tells you when you pray for something that's pretty far out there, maybe to hurt someone else. Ooh, dangerous, dangerous, dangerous prayers. Years ago, when I was single after I left my marriage in Washington, moved here, and found the center, many of my friends set me up on blind dates. And at the time, I was just learning this, so I didn't really know. And so I had physical, tall, dark, handsome, have a boat, that's what I want. And then all these strange, tall, dark, handsome people appeared in my life with a boat. And it was like, I came to James, I said, what am I doing wrong? He said, what are you thinking? And I told him, and he goes, well, Mary, where's love? Where's integrity? Where's honesty? Where's fun? Where's happiness? I went, oh, those. So I went home and made a list of all those juicy things. And one of our prayer practitioners, Luana, was here. And she said, what can I help you with? And I said, here's my list. And she said, are you ready for it? I went, oh, yeah, oh, yeah. She said, then we're going to do a goddamn it treatment. You want it now. And a week later, I met Paul, my current husband. Well, after, we just met, and we just like, oh my gosh, could it be real? About 2 weeks later, I was at his house out in Igo, and he said, by the way, I made a list of the qualities I was looking for in a relationship. And you fit them all. Makes me want to cry, but I said, can I see that list? He said, it's been on the refrigerator the whole time. And I ran and grabbed that list. And next to every quality was a check mark. Isn't that great? But that's how powerful our mind is. This can be your life too. Just joy, happiness, and love. So where I lost myself is another example. Paul has a grandson, his name is Nick. And when I first met Nick as a kid, they lived in Hawaii. And his parents got divorced, and his dad took Nick to Alaska, which is where he grew up. So we went up to check on him. But by the time we got up there, his dad had severe cancer and died at 42 years old. Here's this little 10-year-old kid. And his stepmom, he had remarried, his stepmom was so sad that he would not have a male mentor figure in his life. I said, well, I'll pray for that, no problem. She thought, yeah, right. I don't know what she thought. So I was focused on it because I love this kid. Well, a month later, his stepmom calls me and she says, you're not going to believe this. Oh no, try me. And she said, my sister in Colorado and her husband were getting a divorce and he needed to leave the state and he decided to come up here and spend time with Nick. Now, I would have never, ever thought that. So if we tell the universe what we want and we don't name it specifically, we have infinite potentiality at our beck and call. Another example, a few months ago, a friend of mine was saying she needed to find a new place to live, and she wanted it to be where she could feel solitude, where she could be in nature. And she said, I really want that to happen. I said, well, you can make that happen. Name it. This is what I accept in my life. Think about it. Smell the air, hear the birds, hear the rustling of the trees, listen to the creek going by. Imagine it. And 2 weeks ago, she got this place. She was so excited. Way above Lake Shasta, I mean, out in nowhere. She came and called me and she said, solitude isn't what I thought it might be. She said, do you think I created that? I said, what have you been focused on for the last 2 months? Oh, can I change my mind? I said, absolutely. So now her vision is more of still being in a community, but having the space to feel, in solitude, having the space to meditate, and yet having all the benefits of a community. So that's the fun part about spiritual mind treatment and the science of mind. So we visualize our desires already here. We get the feeling. We feel it. We embody it. That's real energy. And that energy draws like energy to us. So the more we can feel it, we don't have to name the color, we can, but it's like if you want a car, you want transportation, you want safety, things like that. And you let the universe bring you just some amazing things. The reason spiritual mind treatment is so powerful, and this is what Holmes said, when you come here, we're not going to tell you what to think, but to learn how to think is to learn how to live. It's not what we think you should think, it's what you think your life should be like, because you have total freedom to do that. You have total freedom to do what's in your best interest. It's not by holding thoughts like, it's by feeling the love, feeling the freedom, feeling the energy, and knowing the truth. You are part of that. We're using the creative power of the universe, even when we're not aware of it. Holmes called this the greatest thing we've ever learned, that we are totally free to create our life the way we want. Now, I've been studying this philosophy 29 years. That's why my book looks so bad. But I'm always in awe of the power of my mind and the people I know and when they share their stories. And I am so eternally grateful for Ernest Holmes. Who would have walked through all that to learn unity is the key flowing through all spiritual text? We may stumble, as we often do, or feel like we're riding on a roller coaster of energy. But there is always this eternal voice urging us a little bit more, a little bit more. Learn a little bit more, be a little more, experience more. This is a grand life experience, and you don't want to miss any of it. So it is the thing itself, all of it, in all of us, always. So let's pray about that. There is only one. There is only one. And each one of us is part of that one. We have been created with the love of God to live in a universe that is love and law, a universe we can trust completely. So I accept for me and I accept for you today to really think about, what do I want my life to look like in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 5 years? How do I want to feel about it? What is it? And then accept it. Accept it because it is yours. Use that energy within to bring up those beautiful words that express your feelings, how you feel, how you think, and then give great gratitude. It's already so. And right now, the truth is, and so it is.